under fading skies. Tattered flags waving dreams in our eyes. The crowds roar like a storm on the wind. We're the underdogs fighting again.
What's going on, guys, and welcome to another edition of USMNT Yanks Abroad here on Stateside Footy, the biggest little soccer podcast on the internet. I am, of course, your host, Steve Silver. Guess who's already in the chat? Look at that, man. My guy, Soccer Satan. Actually, it's Star Wars Satan. Did you just change your name on me? Or was that actually your name the entire time? And I just thought, it doesn't matter. Anyway, he believes that we will win. I do too. Before we begin, make sure that you hit that like and subscribe button and also hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any upcoming Stateside Footy content. I got to say, man, this upcoming week, it's going to be barren because I am off to the hometown of Seattle, Washington for Christmas. And so for that standpoint, yeah, there's probably not going to be much, but that being said, I will be back midweek, I think Wednesday of next week. So the weekend after, we will be primed and ready to go. Thank goodness, because quite honestly, I don't think I can take another week of the Tottenham Hotspur just letting me down. Jesus Christ. That was too much. All right. So enough about that. Let's go ahead and get into it, because we did have some performances this week. And we start off with the strikers, as we do every single week, and we begin with Flo Balogun. This week, not so much striker, as he started out left in Marseille's 2-win victory over Auxerre. He did play a full 90, managed 7 shots on net. Actually, 4 of 7 was the accuracy, 33 touches, 16 in the opposition box, 5 of 8 of accurate passes. And unfortunately, that was pretty much it. It was good enough for a 6.5 rating. The biggest issue is the fact that he was playing on the left side. He wasn't the only striker not to play striker this last weekend. And we'll get into that as well, too. But, the interesting thing is that Flo is playing. I think that's the most important, regardless of where he's playing, although you would like to see him, feature up top because that's what he does best. And he had that nice little purple patch a couple weeks ago where it seemed like he was absolutely scoring at will, but not so bad for Flo this week. It was what it was. Turning to Ricardo Pepi, and let me tell you, dude, Ricardo Pepi is absolutely on fire right now as PSV beat FC Utrecht 2-1. Pepi played 89 minutes and scored a goal, had 1 shot on 29 touches, 8 in the opposition box, 13 of 18 of accurate passes, good for a 7 rating. And the thing about Ricardo Pepi is he scored now in 4 consecutive Eredivisie matches. And like I said, there's purple patches, and then there's dudes that are absolutely legit. And the interesting thing is he's in his age 22 year, and he's actually having this type of form. Now, again, there's going to be times where it's not going to be like this. But I think the difference between, say, Ricardo Pepi and a guy like Josh Sargent is the fact that Ricardo Pepi actually plays for a good team, and Josh Sargent doesn't. And I don't mean to dunk on Josh Sargent; it just is what it is, right? But that being said, when you look at the form and you look at the way that Ricardo plays, that dude is an absolute monster. It doesn't matter which way you play. Like, if you want to play off the wings, that dude finds a way to get in position to score goals. If you want to be direct and you want to play him on the ball, that dude just knows how to score goals. And the interesting thing about this is our 1 and 2 now. It feels like in the early portion of the late summer, going into the fall, it felt like Flo Balogun kind of was a step ahead. That being said, Pepi was kind of hurt, and he missed some weeks. And then when he came back, he was number 2, sitting behind his battery mate. But that being said, it was like when Pepi got on the field for his little 14, 15 minutes, he was scoring goals. And then eventually he takes over again as primary striker. And now all of a sudden he is now in form, scoring goals. And it feels like Ballo's kind of cooled off. And so now there's this like neck and neck battle for the number 1 for the U.S. men's national team. And it doesn't necessarily matter which way you go, because I don't think there's a wrong answer with either of them. So from that standpoint, I just like watching Pepi play football, man. He's good. Lastly, on the striker for this week was Patrick Agyemang, as Derby County drew 1-1 with Pompey. He also played on the left, but it felt like he played the left a little bit better than Balogun. He played a full 90, managed 1 shot, 41 touches, 8 in the opposition box, 15 to 22 of accurate passing, but he was also of 8 to 10 in aerial duels, which is good for a 7 rating. Now, here's the thing, though. Patrick Agyemang, don't get me wrong, he's had maybe 3 good starts in the championship. Overall, when you look at his goal production and when you look at his, I guess you can say, goals per 90, it's nowhere near the top half of goal scorers in that league, right? As a matter of fact, it's not even on par with what he was doing in Major League Soccer. And so from that standpoint, it's really hard to jump on the Agyemang bandwagon. That being said, I think he's 25. And I just think that the 2026 cycle is just not in his wheelhouse. I don't think that's going to happen, although you never really know with Pochettino. It seems like Pochettino gave Agyemang just a shitload of opportunities this season. And don't get me wrong, there were some times where he came good, but overall, I liked the move to Derby County. I liked the jump up in competition. But really, Agyemang has yet to really hit the ground running with Derby County. A lot of that obviously is environmental. You're going from one league to another. You're moving from one country where you're from. You're moving to England. And now, granted, it's a lot easier to transition because obviously there's no language barrier. But that being said, it's going to take some time to bed in. Get used to your teammates and all this other stuff, new system, whatever the case may be. Do I think that Agyemang is he going to settle into the championship? Yeah, I think he's a championship level caliber player. Do I think that he's got an upper level? Not really. Like there's a difference. There's a difference for me when talking about Nokai Banks, and you see the progression. There's an outside chance that he might make the 2026 roster. Me personally, I think he's a 2030 guy. I don't think Agyemang is a World Cup caliber player. I'll just say it right now. I just don't think he is. Does he have a future with the national team? Sure. There's going to be windows where you're going to call him in, and there's going to be tournaments where he's gonna be effective. But a part of me thinks that like his top level might be Gold Cup. You know what I mean? Like I don't see him participating in the Nations League. Certainly not Copa Americas, those type of competitions. But yeah, like there is going to be a spot like on the B side to the A side for guys like Balogun and Pepi. My guy Ace, How you doing, man? I hope you're going to having a good Monday. By the way, man, I hope you had a good weekend. Yesterday, I did talk a little bit about your team, Inter Miami. Of course, that's available on the replay. And we're going to have a part 2 because there's some interesting things happening with Inter Miami that we're going to have to get into. So definitely stay tuned with that. I'm actually going to have somebody on for that conversation as well, too. So definitely stay tuned with that. I hope you're actually prepared to have your guys. Hope you guys are prepared to have a good Christmas as well, too. Let's turn to the forwards now. And Christian, let's just say what it is, man. Christian, listen. And I said it last week too, because he was not coming off the greatest performance. But one of the things that I was hoping to see, because he loves playing Napoli, there is a thing between him and Napoli. AC Milan got battered 2-0. And what's funny is Rasmus Højlund scored in this match as well too. But Pulisic played a full 90, 40 touches, 4 in the box, 22 of 26 of accurate passing, and that was pretty much it. I mean, 2 of 7 ground duels, 1 of 4 successful dribbles. He got depossessed a couple times. It wasn't the greatest performance from Christian. And again, this is the opposite. This is the thing when you're talking about you're talking about Serie A, and you're talking about Scudettos, and you're talking about what the situation for AC Milan is going to be this year. Obviously it is winning Serie A. And when you look at where they're at in the table right now, 32 points, sitting in second place, unbeaten in their last 5, obviously minus that loss to Napoli right there. And I think that might have been in the Coppa Italia, to be honest with you. But that being said, Napoli is literally 1 point behind them in the table. And when you're looking at this, these are the type of matches, whether it's Coppa Italia or not, these are the type of matches, by the way, that you should come strong. If the ambition is there, these are the type of matches. Now, I'm not going to sit here and shit talk Christian. He's what's the word I'm looking for? He's human, so he's going to have these type of runs in form. But again, against a team like Napoli, you're just kind of hoping that Christian puts on a show, and he definitely didn't. So it is what it is, man. Turning to Malik Tillman, Malik and Bayer Leverkusen had a 3-1 victory over Red Bull Leipzig, where he played a full 90, managed 1 shot, 88 touches, 4 in the opposition box, 67 of 70 of accurate passes, 8 into the final third, 1 of 1 of accurate long balls. And it looks like he also had 7 recoveries as well, too. And Malik Tillman just put on a beautiful performance for Bayer Leverkusen, playing in kind of like a deep holding position as well, too. Almost playing in a box-to-box role for Leipzig, and he still was able to have those type of numbers. And it's actually quite impressive. Quite impressive, really, when you think about it. That dude has really hit the ground running when it comes to the Bundesliga. You know what? I was wrong. It's Lazio. I was wrong. It wasn't Napoli. It's Lazio that I'm thinking of. Anyway, but yeah, you'd still want him to play good against Napoli. Come on, man. It's Conte. All right. You're right, man. You're right. It's Lazio, not Napoli. Turning to Weston McKennie. And, of course, Juventus had a 2-1 victory over Roma. McKennie played a full 90, had an assist on the shot, 45 touches, 19 of 22 of accurate passes, 6 into the final third. And it looks like 4 or 5 aerial duels. He had an 8 rating, and this dude is awesome. And, of course, this was actually a very special match for Wes because that's his 200th appearance for Juventus, not excluding the loan move to Leeds. Excuse me, but that being said, it's like the longevity that he's had with Juve, the bullshit that he's had to put up with at Juve, and the fact that he's being rewarded. And it looks like the club did well by him with that, with that nice little post-game trophy that they gave him for his 200 appearances. And by the way, I think over the course of the last 5 years that he's been there, I actually think that he is their leading assist man throughout that time as well too. And so it just goes to show you that the underappreciated Weston McKennie still continues to grind for Juve and still figures out a way to get involved when there's still not that great of appreciation for him at Juve. Let's talk about Yunus Musa because he actually grabbed a start this weekend. Hey, Yunus, welcome back, buddy. As Atalanta beat Genoa 1-0. And it was the start of an attacking sequence from Yunus Musa that actually led to the goal. He played a full 90, had a shot, 73 touches, 53 of 57 of accurate passes, 7 in the final third, 3 of 3 of accurate long balls, 6 of 9 ground duels, 3 of 5 aerial duels, good enough for a 7.5 rating. And it's nice to see that, Yunus, it's number one, it's nice to see Yunus back on the pitch, getting a start. It seems like it's been forever for Yunus. Outside of the token 6 minutes here or there at the end of a match, it's nice to see Yunus actually get some run out. But more importantly, it's nice to see Yunus actually take advantage of the opportunity as well too, because you never know if these things are going to be far and few in between. So from that standpoint, it was nice to see Yunus play well, man. And who knows exactly where this is going to lead for Yunus. And if I'm Yunus, man, I'm trying to get out of Atalanta. I'll be the first one to say it. It seemed like that may have been the only opportunity for him, where he's thinking he might go to Atlanta, he might compete for a starting spot, but if things happen and that doesn't transpire, maybe an injury would allow him to see the pitch. That didn't happen either. And now that we're getting into the January window, maybe this is an opportunity for him to see if he can make a move. And if it's to a lesser league, if it's like the Eredivisie, then you go. Same thing with Damian Downs as well too, because that kid is grinding at Southampton. And listen, man, it just didn't work out. And usually, I'm not a big fan of bailing on teams 6 months after signing for them. But in both of these cases, I think it actually might be the best move for their career to get out of their situations, because they have to be playing. Like if the World Cup is something that is, if the World Cup is something that is important to them, and I would probably assume that both feel that way, then it's time. Yeah, I agree, man. I agree. All right, let's get to the center defensive bids. By the way, so last week when the word came down with Tyler Adams, is they didn't think that it was an MCL tear. They thought that it was like a deep bone bruise. Turns out that it actually is an MCL tear. The good news is that he will be ready for the World Cup. So this is not going to be something where it's going to be necessarily long term. There could be a scenario that Adams might be available for the March camp. Now, that might be pushing it, but 3 months is what it is. And who knows exactly how that rehab is going to go. But that being said, if it extends past March, then he will be available for the World Cup warm-up matches. I think it's against Germany and somebody. Anyways, I have to look that up. But yeah, he's like, if Adams is not back by March, okay, fine, but he will be back for the World Cup. This isn't like an ACL tear where you're gone for 10 months and you're going to miss the World Cup. So from that standpoint, that's actually good news. So I'm glad to see that. Tanner Tessman returned from injury this weekend to get 14 minutes off the bench. So that's good. Johnny Cardoso came back last week, did not feature this week. So the only thing I have to report is on James Sands from St. Pauli as they drew 0-0 to Mainz. He played 90 minutes, had 57 touches, 21 of 37 of accurate passes, 6 into the final third, 12 defensive contributions, 5 interceptions, 3 of 5 ground duels, 9 of 14 aerial duels, good enough for a 7 rating for James Sands, and so that's good. Aiden Morris, by the way, is also recovering as well, too. That's why he has not featured in the last couple weeks, because he is also dealing with a little bit of a knock. All right, let's turn to the wingbacks, and Jedi, finally. Although he came back last week, had an assist, but all that said and done, man, it's nice to see Jedi back. As Fulham beat Forest 1-0. Jedi played the full 90, had 2 chances created, 71 touches. Looks like 2 of those were in the opposition box, 29 of 44 of accurate passes, 2 into the final third, 2 of 4 of accurate crosses, 4 tackles, 6 recoveries, 4 of 5 ground duels. Good for a 7.5, and Jedi is just doing Jedi things, and I love it. I love it for Jedi. It's nice to see he's back. There was a lot of when and if, and there was a lot of skepticism that this thing actually the need just might turn into something long-term, but he's back, baby, and he's back at the right time as well, too, because he's desperately missed with the U.S. men's national team. Serginho Dest, of course, PSV did beat FC Utrecht, and as awesome as it was to see Ricardo Pepi score goals, it was Serginho Dest's assist that set up Pepi. Dest played a full 90, had the 1 assist on 1 shot, 3 chances created, 69 touches, 3 in the opposition box, 35 of 40 of accurate passes, 6 into the final third, 4 tackles, 6 of 9 ground duels, good enough for an 8 rating. And Serginho Dest continues his strong run of form. And it was just awesome watching Serginho Dest essentially set up Ricardo Pepi for that goal. And that U.S. connection is always fun to watch. Timmy Weah did play. And it looked like they were playing in the Coupe de France as Marseille beat, looks like Breze, 6-0. Weah played 69 minutes, had 1 shot, 68 touches, 41 of 44 of accurate passes, 3 of 3 of accurate long balls, 6 recoveries, 3 of 5 ground duels. That was good for a 7 rating as well. And Weah continues to hold down that right wing back position for Marseille. He does sometimes play up front, but this for the last 3 weeks he's been playing at this position, and then it was 6 weeks prior. So yeah, very good, strong performance in the Coupe de France. Lastly, Brian Reynolds of Westerlo, they beat RAAL 2-1. He played the full 90, 1 chance creation, 77 touches, 43 of 55 of accurate passes, 9 into the final third, 6 recoveries, 4 of 5 ground duels. That was good for a 7.5 rating. Congratulations to Brian Reynolds for his 3rd consecutive appearance on the show. And again, man, you got to appreciate consistency, even if it is in the Belgian Pro League. John Tolkien did not feature this week because John Tolkien actually did not play that well. It's unfortunate, but that being said, it's like I can't necessarily there's like a line that I can't cross when it comes to bad performances. But that being said, it seems like the last 4 weeks he's gone good performance, bad performance, good performance, and it's like I gotta draw the line somewhere. Hopefully Tolkien will be back. Center backs now. Chris Richards had a whopper, man. He had a whopper. As Crystal Palace had a good result in the Conference League, only to come back to the Premier League and get absolutely battered 4-1 to Leeds. And there's a reason why Brendan Aronson wasn't featured this week either, because even in that 4-1 victory, he did not necessarily play all that well. Chris Richards did not play well at all in this one either. And it's unfortunate because Chris, our best center back in the pool, just like Christian, he's bound to have a match where things don't go his way. Sure enough, that's what happened with Crystal Palace. Gets absolutely bloodied by Leeds right there. But Mark McKenzie, he was actually really good in Toulouse, and of course, this is the Coupe de France. They played La Duchère, and they beat them 2-1. McKenzie played a full 90. Get this, he had 116 touches as a center back. 100, dude, that's Austin Trusty territory right there. 103 of 106 accurate passes. 24 went into the final third. 1 of 2 of accurate long balls. 4 of 4 of aerial duels. That was good for a 7.5 rating, and that's awesome. That's awesome. And, everybody right now is all on the Noah Kai Banks bandwagon, as they should be. But quietly, Mark McKenzie has been absolutely a gem for Toulouse. And the consistency is there. And that makes me happy, too, because quietly, with these type of performances now, center back doesn't become as bad as it needs to be. There are some guys that are playing well, and come 2026, come the World Cup, they're going to be coming into the World Cup in form as well, too. Speaking of another guy, Austin Trusty, as Celtic finally won one for Wilfred Nancy as he picks up his first win as gaffer at Celtic. They beat Aberdeen 3-1. Austin Trusty played a full 90, had 2 shots on net, 110 touches, 95 of 99 of accurate passes. And by the way, in this game, he had the most touches, and he also completed the highest percentage of passes in that victory. 26 into the final third, those passes, 6 of 9 of accurate long balls, 3 of 4 ground duels, 1 of 1 of aerial duels, and that was good enough for a 7.5 rating. And again, Austin Trusty, since coming back from his little knock, he's also been quite consistent as well, too. And again, when you start thinking about the top 4, top 5 center backs, when in pertaining to the 2026 World Cup, there are going to be ways where all of these guys are potentially going to see the field, because all of them either can play on the right or the left, and you don't necessarily have to pigeonhole yourself with Tim Ream. That's all I'm saying. Lastly, No Kai Banks as Augsburg, beat Drew 0-0 with Werder Bremen. And No Kai had played a full 90, 63 touches, 44 of 50 of accurate passes, 7 into the final third, 3 of 7 of accurate long balls, 4 of 8 ground duels, 1 of 2 of aerial duels, and that was good for a 7 rating. And this right here is his 3rd straight match with the 7 rating or better for No Kai Banks. And of course, if you guys are present on USMNT Twitter, or X, what the cool kids are calling it these days, you will see that there's a lot of love for Noah Kai Banks, and it's I guess it's worthy of it, because it's very rare when you see a 19, 20-year-old kid holding his own in the Bundesliga in a position where you absolutely have to come correct. So from that standpoint, I understand that. That being said, and I'll say this, and it might be popular, it might not be popular. It's not necessarily about who is playing. Let me rephrase this. It's not about who's hot right now. It's going to be the body of work between now and the beginning of March is going to determine who is going to be in that March camp. That is going to be the indicator of the World Cup roster. So if No Kai is selected for that March camp, that's a good indication that he's probably going to be on the World Cup roster. But there's also a but to this, though. One of the things you don't want to see is him getting called in and getting no minutes like what happened in September. It kind of defeats the entire purpose, especially if Miles Robinson ends up getting the minutes. It makes absolutely no sense, right? You want to bring him in against a strong opponent, a Belgium, a Portugal, a Germany, and you want to see exactly whether or not he's going to be able to hold up, because it's different. It's different, right? It's different than defending against Werder Bremen. Just saying, right? So from that standpoint, it's not about who's hot now. It's about the body of work between now and when they get called in for that March camp. It's that total body of work. And again, if he's on it, it's a good indication he'll be on the World Cup roster. That being said, again, I hate to be the one to say it, a big part of me thinks that Mauricio Pochettino knows the 5 center backs that he trusts and that I think he's going to carry to the World Cup. I'm not saying there can't be a situation where there's 6 center backs. Me personally, the more the better. But I think that he knows who the 5 are. I think he trusts the 5. And I think that Nokai Banks more or less might be a 2030 guy, not necessarily a 2026. But that being said, if he continues to be consistent between now and when they announce the March roster, if he's on it, it's not going to be that big of a surprise. It's not going to be that big of a surprise because he would have earned it. But again, you're talking about when you look at his week to week, yes, he's had 3 very good weeks. But again, it's the overall body of work. And that is something that, we're going to find out exactly what he's made of between now and when that March camp gets called. Lastly, with the goalkeepers, Jonathan Klinsmann of Cesena in Serie B, they drew 1-1 with Juve Stabia, and he played a full 90. Of course he did. He had 30 saves, 32 touches, 9 of 25 of accurate passes. He also had a 7 rating, so not a bad performance. Last week, Klinsmann was just god-awful, and he got shelled. I think he actually let 3 go by last week. So from that standpoint, it is what it is. It's Serie B, and that level is what it is. It almost feels like it's Major League Soccer at that point because better attacks, not so great defenses, and so from that standpoint, you're going to see shots, and you're probably going to see goals. But Klinsmann actually has not been terrible. And I wouldn't be surprised if Jonathan Klinsmann makes the World Cup roster as the 3rd. That's all I'm going to say. All right, that's going to do it for me tonight. Short night, but that being said, some good performances. I would think that my performer of the week is between Ricardo Pepi and I would probably think Jedi had a very strong performance this week. But also Nokai Banks as well, too. So, it's hard to pick just one. The obvious choice is to go with the goal scorer, especially when that goal scorer has scored in 4 straight Eredivisie matches. So it's hard to go against the guy that's in form, but Jedi's been back and he's actually had 2 very good performances under his belt. Especially with McKennie as well too, being also very very consistent, and then also Yunus Musa played well, man. But I don't think he's going to get my player of the weekend. I think I might have to agree with Ace here, who says he's giving it to Pepi. I'm going to give it to Pepi as well too. Ricardo again scoring in his 4th straight Eredivisie match. And just let me pull this up real quick, and I will give you Ricardo's last 6 weeks. Just to let people know what's going on here. So starting on November 30th against FC Volendam, he had 6 weeks ago on November 30th, FC Volendam, not 6 weeks ago, but 3 weeks ago. That will be 6 matches ago. He started a run where he scored 4 in a row, and then he scored this last weekend as well too. So that makes 5 out of the last 6 that he scored a goal in. So it's hard to go against the guy that is absolutely dead bang in form. So from that standpoint, I'm giving my player of the weekend to Ricardo Pepi. Big shout out to Weston McKennie, though. 200 appearances at Juve. Quietly, he has kind of developed into that steady rock for the old lady. So congratulations to Wes. Also, again, congratulations to Tanner Tessman coming back from injury, getting 14 minutes this weekend was nice to see, and of course Anthony Robinson as well too, coming back. And again, I think a lot of people didn't necessarily think it was going to happen this soon, because with that knee injury, it almost felt like it was iffy at best. But he's back, and he's playing at a high level, so it's not going to be long until we hear hear Jedi to Manchester United rumors. So if you're Jedi, avoid Manchester United with all your might, with everything you can. Please avoid Manchester United. Go to Spurs like you're supposed to. All right, so that goes with Christian Pulisic too. Go to Spurs, man. We need you. All right, that's gonna do it for me. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. I want to thank Ace, and I want to thank Star Wars Satan. You guys are awesome. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Yeah, listen, dude, I'm biased, man. I want everybody to go to Spurs. Dude. Oh, yes. Thank you, Ace. Thank you for reminding me. Before I go, Real Sociedad has got themselves a new head coach, and it is American coach Pellegrino Matarazzo, who knows a thing about keeping clubs in top flights, as he did it in Germany for quite some time. And now he goes to Real Sociedad, who's currently sitting on 17 points, literally 2 points above the drop in La Liga. That would be Levante, Oviedo, and Girona, currently sitting in the three relegation spots. But right there is Valencia, Real Sociedad, and Rayo Vallecano. And so from that standpoint, to see the first American coach in La Liga, that's a tremendous honor for Pellegrino. And I would probably assume that he is going to do a good job there. Right now, it can go either way for Real Sociedad. They do have some talent there. And from that standpoint, they're just not getting the breaks right now. They lost to Villarreal on November 30th. They just drew with Levante, who is in a relegation spot right now. They beat in the Copa del Rey. They beat Eldense, but then they lose to Girona, which is bad. They lost to Alaves as well too. So I mean, they're dropping points to teams that are absolutely dog shit. And so from that standpoint, when you actually have a team that, and when you look at Real Sociedad and you look at their model of business, they don't spend, but what they do is they develop good players, and they have a history of doing it. And from that standpoint, that is something that, getting a guy like Pellegrino Matarazzo in the door, getting him involved with what they do there at Real Sociedad, that's the type of guy that you want, because it's not just short term. He also thinks long term as well too, and he also happens to stick around as well too. Now, am I going to sit here and say that he's going to win La Liga? Probably not. Do I think he's going to win the Copa del Rey? It's a little bit doable. Maybe not this year, but it is doable over the next 3 years. But I'm curious about what Ace says right here. So Real Sociedad needs some American players. Which American players? Are you thinking like maybe Diego Luna? Because I wouldn't mind the idea of Diego Luna making the jump to La Liga for a team like Real Sociedad. That seems like there would be no pressure for a guy like Diego Luna. Like, there's going to be pressure because he's going to have to fight for a spot. But what I'm saying, though, is it's like, if he would go, like, I don't think he's ready for the upper echelon of La Liga. But that being said, like, if he were to go to a team that is expected to win trophies and he doesn't deliver, that would probably have a negative effect on him. But that being said, if like he goes to a team like Real Sociedad, I don't know, man, that almost feels like it's good, or like Celta Vigo or something. Where is Celta Vigo right now? Yeah, they're in 7th. Okay. Getafe, Osasuna. Oh, shit, Mallorca is in 13th place. Okay. Good for Mallorca. All right. Yeah, Luna is a fighter, so anything can happen. Yeah. But I think you and I would both agree, though, Ace, that he's at a level. You can see the top-end talent, and now he needs to go to a league that is going to sharpen the finer edges of his game, because I think there is a point in Major League Soccer that you get complacent, and if you don't make that jump, then you're going to end up being a lifer in Major League Soccer, and I would hate that for Diego. That dude is such a talented player, and I would love it if he made the jump. So that would be a good fit for him. I wouldn't mind seeing him going to Real Sociedad. So congratulations to Pellegrino Matarazzo. And yeah, man, I hope you guys have a great holiday. I take off for Seattle on Wednesday, so there will be no Thursday show. And there will be no weekend shows this weekend. It sucks. I know. I don't like taking days off, but that being said, man, Christmas is about the family. And so from that standpoint, I hope you guys enjoy your Christmas. If you have kids, man, I hope that you make sure that their Christmas is special. And of course, if you have significant others, I hope that you do the same for them as well, too, because after all, it seems these days that there aren't enough for the family. And me being a family type of guy that believes in it, all I can say is that when you hang out with family, it kind of puts things into perspective, especially as you get older. So enjoy it, and hopefully everything is great, and hopefully Santa brings you everything that's on your wish list. So from that being said, I will be back the week after as we're leading into the new year, and I'm still in the works. I'm planning on something pretty cool. I'm thinking about doing the Legend of Dos Acero for the U.S. men's national team, and getting into. Most people think that the Legend of Dos Acero started like in 2000, 2001 when we moved to Columbus. That's not the fact. And so I'm going to do a U.S. men's national team history show, and I'm going to tell you where the Legend of Dos Acero actually begins, and it's probably not going to be what you guys think it is. So I'm thinking about that. One's in the hopper as well, too, so I'm planning on doing that show. So make sure you hit the like and subscribe buttons, and also hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on that. And hopefully that'll be I wish for USMNT versus me and you too. You and me both, dude. That's in my hometown, and I want to go. I just don't want to spend $3,000. You and me both. I just don't want to spend $3,000. Me too, man. It's in my hometown. All right. You guys take care. Good night, guys.
Rusted goalposts under fade.